One thing you have to understand is that indecision will leave you in a place longer than you actually want to be. Indecision is one of the biggest things that leave people stuck in a toxic relationship. Not because you can't decide, but because you don't decide. Now, what I mean by that is a lot of times people stay stuck in the middle of a relationship because they're trauma bonded, because they're stuck in the toxicity. And typically, what that looks like is they're stuck in the toxicity to the whole point of having this aspect of cognitive dissonance, not knowing what is actually right, what is actually wrong, what's up, what's down, what's truthful, what's not truthful. And the majority of times, a narcissist will leave you stuck in the trauma bond for a long period of time. Now, when we talk about trauma bond, I want you to understand it's the aspect of having hope and potential that the other person is going to change, going to get better, that something's going to be different or modified. Then it's also this aspect of cognitive dissonance. The idea of holding two opposing thoughts. Do I believe his words or do I believe his actions? Which do I actually believe? Which is actually true? Which is actually real? And then it's intermittent reinforcement, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. These all played together form this cocktail of addiction that leads you back to this toxic person over and over and over again. But until you make a decision, you will always stay stuck. Until you make a decision about what you're going to do, how you're going to show up, who you want to be with, you're going to always stay stuck. Now, a lot of times people won't make a decision because they think, oh, maybe this is going to be different. Maybe it's going to change. Maybe we're just going through a bad communication time. Maybe it's going to get better. And a lot of times people will stay in this indecision piece for a long period of time because they think that it's going to get better. It's going to magically get better than what it's actually been in. The other piece is with the trauma bond, you start to believe an alternate version of reality. You start to believe something that actually isn't true, that the narcissist cares for you, that he loves you, when he's not actually doing anything to demonstrate it, when he's not doing anything to show it. Hope is the dope. Yeah, 100%. Like you think that. You think that, hey, I have hope this person's going to change. I think this person has so much potential. We have so much potential. Maybe we'll actually stick around. Maybe this will work out. And it never does. Like you have to understand, indecision will leave you stuck. How many people right here, right now, have looked at their past, the past 6 months of this year? We're approaching like the midway point. We're at the midway point right now of the year. Have you actually grown to where you want to be? Because indecision will leave you stuck another 6 months in a toxic relationship. It will leave you stuck 100%. It won't let you actually move forward at all. You need to be able to understand that the longer you stay with a lack of clarity, you stay in the fog, the fear of being with a narcissist or seeing the narcissist go on to the next supply and them having it so much better, the obligation that you think this person is, you're obligated because of everything you've already been through, everything he's put you through, and the guilt of being in this relationship. A lot of times you will stay stuck a lot longer than what you should. But that's because you have to come down to the place of making a decision. Now, this decision piece is not easy. I was talking to a client just the other day, and she has to make a decision. But the thing is, we didn't just say, hey, make a decision right now. We're like, hey, it sounds like you're really unclear. So let's get clear about this. How are we going to measure this? How are we going to know if this is actually progressed, if he's actually changed, if he's changing? Let's script it out. How many days you're going to evaluate it? How are we going to track it every single day? How are you going to record it? How are you going to make sure you're accountable to recording it? Going back and forth and showing all the different things. Here's all the different obstacles. How are we going to overcome those? So at the end of 30 days, at the end of 45 days, she can say, hey, this is my decision. I was like, you don't have to make one right now, but you do have to make a decision getting clear so you have enough data to actually make a decision. Because the majority of time you think, oh, it's getting better. But until we actually look at the data and we look at what's actually happening on a day-to-day basis, you actually notice that it's getting worse. You're 6 months into this year. How much longer do you want this to continue getting worse, or to keep fooling yourself that you think it's getting better when it's not? Or you think that, hey, this is just going to pretend. Let me just pretend that everything's okay, keep going, and wait till something happens. And it keeps going over and over and over again. A narcissist will lead you into the fog, the fear, the obligation, the guilt, and they will leave you stuck there. And you will not know where to go, what to do, and you will have no sense of clarity when you're stuck in the fog. The thing is, the only thing that actually permeates and penetrates through the fog and starts giving you a clarity of what direction you need to go is simply the truth. You're like, how do I get the truth? I don't know how to get to the truth. He won't admit to me that he's lying. He won't admit to me that he's cheating. Doesn't matter. What matters is what this person is demonstrating on a day-to-day basis. Those are the facts. We focus on the facts on all different levels. The people that I coach, we focus just on the facts. They're like, well, I think. I'm like, what is the facts? They're like, well, he says. I'm like, what is the facts? because we have to get really clear and really granular of what is the facts of the situation. That is the only thing that will set you free. Because knowing the actual facts, the truth of the situation leads you down the road of unleashing the story that you actually need to believe, not the one you've been sold, not the one you've been forced to believe from the toxicity, or that your perception is getting shifted for such a long period of time because of your upbringing, because of previous partners, because of your education or religious system. All these things mold and modify you to get to a certain conclusion that might not be true. The narcissist will keep you in the fog for a long period of time. My question for you today is, how long will you choose to stay in the fog? You might be like, well, that sounds like you're blaming us. I'm not. You've been manipulated, gaslighted, and belittled so many different times that you're stuck in the fog. But now you're starting to see a little bit of the light. You're starting to wake up as you start to watch different videos, as you start to understand what's actually going on, as you start to see, wait a second, this relationship might just be toxic. This might not be the type of person that I want to be. This isn't love. This isn't care. This isn't love when he keeps cheating on you. This isn't love when he keeps abusing you and belittling you and pushing you down. This isn't love because you make more money. He's got to make you feel like you're worthless so that you actually look worthless to him, so he feels better about himself because he's not producing. This isn't love when he does produce the money and he comes home and that's it. Just shows up and then does whatever he wants to do because he doesn't actually care about you and care about the kids. You need to actually understand this. We have to look at the facts of the situation. That is the only thing that's going to set you free. Are you getting this? Are you understanding this? This is the only piece that will actually set you free, is the truth of your relationship, is the truth of the situation. Until you actually start to acknowledge that, until you acknowledge the truth of what's actually happening, you always stay stuck. So the question is, we got 6 more months left. We got 6 months left of 2023. How much longer will you tolerate it? How much longer will it get dealt to you? How much longer will you continue to accept it? How much longer? Because how much more is it going to cost you? How much more is it going to cost you in your health? Where you start to lose more hair, where you start to be more anxious, where you start to not have the energy that you want. You develop another autoimmune disease. You develop something that has you debilitated, where you're not able to show up with your kids. You're not able to parent how you want to be able to parent. When you do parent the way you want to parent, half the time it's triggered because of people that you're around, because of situations that you're in, because you're not healed going through it. How long will this continue going? We're halfway through the year. How much longer? I want you to consider, what is the price of indecision? What is the price if you stay? What is the price if you don't change? What is the price if you don't actually make a step in the right direction?